Continuing my trip along China's ancient Silk Road, in this video we are travelling to the lowest point in China and the second lowest place on Earth, Turpan Desert, which is 154 metres below sea level. Prepare to be amazed by Jiaohe ruins. This 2,000-year-old town is one of the world's largest, oldest and best preserved ancient cities built of raw earth. Yes, that's right, they dug down into the earth to create the buildings, something I've never seen before. We also visit Emin Minaret and Tuyoq Village, an ancient oasis village in the Taklamakan Desert. So, let's get into it. We've just arrived here in the ancient city of Jiaohe, which is 2,300 years old. This was once the capital of the Jiaohe kingdom, preserved earthen ruins on the Silk Road. Can you see all of these different buildings? It's crazy. Jiaohe was carved directly from the luces, the compressed earth plateau. Unlike many ancient cities that were constructed above ground with bricks or stone, monolithic city, meaning that many of the buildings were dug into the earth rather than constructed on top of it. And because we're here in Turpan, where we're actually below sea level, it means that this is actually building down below the base of the earth. Structures here were made from rammed earth and a building technique using compacted natural materials like soil, gravel, and sometimes straw, perfect for dry desert climate. The city was designed in a T-shape, stretching around 1,650 metres long and 300 metres wide at its broadest point. It's got clear zoning. The northern section was for residential. The central strip featured government buildings and administrative areas, and the southern end was for religious structures, including a Buddhist monastery complex, which we're going to go and have a look at later. Streets were actually carved into the earth, forming narrow passageways and lanes, with some still visibly intact today. Jiaohe had no outer city walls, which was unusual for the time, but its 30-metre high natural cliffs formed a natural fortress around the city, making it difficult to attack from any side. There was only one main entry point, which also kept the city safe because there was only one entry to keep control of. As you can see, despite being in a desert region here, the city has access to river water from two rivers that would flow on either side, which created this natural boundary around the city. This natural elevation also helped with drainage and to protect it from any flooding. Homes were placed to maximize the shade and airflow in the extreme temperatures. Because we're in a desert here, it is very hot. I'm exploring this 2,300-year-old city that has been carved not on the earth, but into the earth. Everything around us here is actually below sea level, and this plateau was built on, and the buildings behind me were all built downwards into the ground, and they're still here today. So let's go and explore them and see what's still standing here in China's lowest place in the whole country, and the second lowest place in the entire world. Just look here, can you see on the walls of this building, you can see here all the layers where it's starting to degrade over time. And it's crazy, like, to think that it would have been someone's house over here over 2,300 years ago in the middle of this desert region where there's pretty much nothing to eat, there's nothing growing. But they were so clever that they engineered this whole city, and it was a crucial part of the Silk Road here in the Han Dynasty, all the way through to the Tang Dynasty. It was a multicultural hub here where people who were travelling the Silk Road would come and trade. It was a city full of life and full of culture. It's wild to think that this city just carved out of this natural plateau, which is why the city was called Jiaohe, because apparently Jiaohe is basically the meaning of the word, the meeting of two rivers. So because the two rivers carved this out naturally, they use this as their base for the city. This is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, protected since 2014. The site is preserved largely in its original condition thanks to the dry desert climate and also the unique earth-carved construction, which when you look around, it's crazy to think this has managed to last for so long.
we're now in the warehouse district, which is located between Eastgate and the administrative district. Lots of caves, various sizes, which we use for storing military supplies, food and fodder. Jiaohe wasn't just a city, it was a strategic military outpost from the Han Dynasty. Its location was no accident. It's built on this narrow plateau because it had natural cliff walls on all sides, made it pretty much impossible to invade, and it gave the city a natural fortress-like defense, which meant that they never needed to build protective walls. Jiaohe was also served as the military capital of Turpan region, playing a vital role in making sure it defended the Silk Road and all of the trade that came through it to maintain this vital corridor here in the desert of China. We're now approaching the Buddhist temple that's here in this city, and it's wild because I'm learning whilst I'm on this Silk Road journey that one of the big things that came in to China through the Silk Road is the influence of Buddhism and how it touched all the different places along that journey into China. Monks and travellers from India and Central Asia passed through here, and the temple was a stop for spiritual practice and exchange. Even though we're not allowed to go any further than here, you can still see the massive pagoda is still standing. The temple complex around here included monks' residence, lecture halls, as you can see here. This temple here helped to bridge Indian, Central Asian and Chinese Buddhist traditions, making it a vital spiritual hub here in this city in the middle of the desert. I mean, this is just amazing. Look at it. There's even a well down here, I think, because this goes quite deep down. So this must have been a source of water supply. But just look at this view out into the mountains. It's such a big city. So many buildings. So ingenious. I just love the engineering of this. Over 2,000 years ago. Some very smart people. So it looks like we can go down here into this building. Let's go have a look. There must be some grand rooms here. So this is in the administration district. So I imagine this would have been some kind of grand hall. I'm here at Tuyoq Minaret, also known as Emin Minaret. It is the tallest ancient minaret in China, standing at 44 meters high. It's one of the most iconic Islamic landmarks on the Silk Road. This minaret was built in 1777 during the Qing dynasty. The son of a local ruler, Emin Minaret, in honor of his father, and that's where the name Emin Minaret also comes from. This minaret is attached to the Qing era mosque, and it reflects a blend of Uyghur and Islamic architecture. It was used to call local Muslims to prayer and also acted as a symbol of power and prestige. It's built entirely by sun-dried brick, and it has no nails or wood in the tower at all. The tower tapers as it rises up to the top, and it features this intricate geometric brickwork pattern, like diamonds and waves, all done by hand. Today, the Tuyoq Minaret is a protected cultural relic, and it's a symbol of ethnic diversity and religious history here in Xinjiang. It's a key stop on the Silk Road for anyone exploring Central Asian heritage in China. And Muslims don't pray here anymore, apart from at special occasions. It's mainly just open now for tourists to come and visit. hit by a major earthquake back in 2008, and so much of significant damage was caused to this area and its historic mud brick homes and infrastructure. Since then, they've reconstructed. Efforts have carefully preserved the original Uyghur style, using traditional materials and building methods to maintain the authenticity of the village, whilst making it more resilient. But unfortunately, you can't go into the caves now because they have been damaged from the earthquake. Nowadays, this is still a living village where people are farming and live here. You get a real authentic glimpse of the Uyghur culture and rural life here on the Silk Road. This place is beautiful, just look at it, with those huge mountains over the top, and this village is in the middle of, surrounded by all these mountains. It's crazy. So you can see here actually, they've got the bricks. So the village was built with sun-dried mud bricks that blend into the red cliffs around it. Where they have naan making competitions in these ovens here. Naan making competition sounds fun. Sounds like my kind of competition I could get on board with. How fast this water is that's flowing here through this river. You can tell that this place isn't fully ready yet. They're still rebuilding. They've got a lot of places here with food offering and places where you can buy souvenirs from, but there's no one here because it's not the peak season yet. But summer 2025 it will be. This place will be full of people. They're even going to have some of these buildings here available for accommodation, like homestays. So you can even stay in one of these overnight. Watch the sun rising from over there. Sunset over the mountain over here. It sounds amazing. I kind of wish I could come back here again. The sun is almost setting here, so I think it's time for me to say goodbye. Thank you so much again for watching the video. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please hit the like button if you have, and if you haven't subscribed already, why not hit that subscribe button below. There's going to be more adventures coming from my Silk Road journey here in China. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.